My name is Carmen. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and then moved out to Colorado to get away from the beach and get to the mountains.
And I'm Lindsay. I grew up in the mountains of Colorado, and this is our daughter, Afton. You all wave? Say hi.
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 She's almost 2 years old and loves the adventure.
We had a house in Oklahoma City and decided we were kind of done with living in a house and we wanted to try something different. So we moved back to Colorado a couple years ago and moved into a 20-foot camper to try something smaller, see if a van would actually feel right for us. And then this last November, we decided to get a van and outfit it with Wayfair vans.
We went with Wayfair. We were looking for something. I went back and forth to see if we wanted to build it out ourselves. And I'm not the most handy person. I was somewhat up to the challenge of building out our own van. I had relatives that were general contractors and they could help a little bit, but then I started thinking about it more and more and more, and it just felt just overwhelming and time consuming. And so we actually just stumbled upon Wayfair one day in Colorado Springs and just walked in and they were like, yeah, we'll give you a tour. So they were awesome and showed us what they had, and it was perfect. It was exactly what we were looking for. We wanted something simple that we could actually adventure in. We didn't want a house in a van. We wanted an adventure vehicle. And so they had it simple, wanted something that we could have in cold climates and hot climates, and we could fill with lots of gear and make work for us. So it was a perfect fit for what we were looking for. Our goal was to jump in it pretty fast, and start traveling farther. So our first trip was to Big Bend National Park in Texas, and I think it was 3 days after we got the van, we just headed out. And so that was our first good-sized trip, a couple weeks, and then from there we've just extended our trip longer and longer and longer to where I think this last trip it's been 80 days in the van, and we plan on this summer just being full-time in the van.
So our favorite trip so far as a family has been to the Grand Staircase Escalante region, where we did a few slot canyon hikes. Afton loves rocks, so any chance that we get, we just try and let her go and be free. And so in one of the slot canyons, she was running and chasing after kids, and it's this really narrow thing, and she was having a blast.
Some advice that we would give to families that want to travel in a van is it's small, but it's also, you've got all this. So you've got everything outside of the van as well. It's totally doable, and you can make it work, whether that's a weekend thing or whether that's a full-time or a couple weeks or a couple months. We feel it's definitely doable, and it's got its challenges, but so does living in a house, and there's lots of fun that is involved with it. I mean, the fact that we can be outside and play with Afton all the time is one of our big reasons to be living in a van and traveling a lot. And so advice would be to go for it and do it, and figure out the little tweaks and challenges as you go. But yeah. We went with the 159 ProMaster, a little bit bigger than the smaller one. It did give us a little bit more variety of maneuvering pieces around, and that's what is great about Wayfair as well, is you can take all their pieces and change the puzzle. So if for us, we needed to add a second seat for Afton to stay in, put the car seat, and so we put a bench seat right behind the driver's seat, and it allowed us to shift the kitchen a little bit, move another box on the other side, and that was really key. And so the size of the van was good for us to get the bigger one so that we could add that second bench seat for her. And then if we have another kid in the future, we could stick them next to Afton, or if we bring a friend or a cousin, we can also have them hang back there with Afton in the bench seat. Yeah, the activities that we like to do as we travel, a lot of them are hikes. So hiking right now has been fun. Afton loves to hike and climb rocks right now. So that's been a big piece of our travel. We look for really unique hikes, or ones that are fun for kids and families. And there's a lot out there.
We also do trail running. If Afton's taking a nap, I'll go for a run while Carmen hangs with her, or vice versa. to mountain biking.
And then we just enjoy hanging out at camp as well. I think that's a nice place to either just relax and let Afton run around and climb a tree, or just have some space to just slow down and decompress a little bit, or just enjoy the scenery is also enjoyable. So, and then we love meeting other families. So that's been a highlight for us, is meeting other families that have kids or are doing fun things and are getting outside, and that is cool. We keep in touch with a lot of them still and try to meet up with them whenever we can.